Good morning, everyone. Bonjour à tous. Buenos días a todos. Bienvenidos al ciclo virtual de Experiencias Significativas, Educating in Times of Pandemic. Nous sommes et nous faisons l'histoire. Evento organizado por el Grupo de Investigación en Cultura, Lenguas y Otros Saberes del Instituto Internacional de Idiomas de la UPTC. Para nosotros es un placer contar con la asistencia de todos ustedes. Dando inicio a nuestra agenda, los invitamos a entonar el himno de la República de Colombia. A continuación, himno de la UPTC. Palabras de bienvenida del director del Instituto Internacional de Idiomas, el docente Alexander Ortiz Carvajal.
Buenos días para todos, nos complace saludarles con afecto y respeto en nombre del señor rector, ingeniero Cardenal Ramírez, del señor vicerrector académico Dr. Manuel y en el miembro de la dirección del Instituto Internacional de Idiomas de la Universidad Pedagógica y Tecnológica de Colombia. Les damos la más cordial bienvenida a nuestros keynote speakers, a todos los directivos y colegas de la UPTC y del departamento de Boyacá, de nuestra querida Colombia y del hoy nos convoca este espacio que aspiramos sea de reflexión, debate y de diálogo colectivo que hemos intitulado el primer ciclo virtual de experiencias significativas, Educando en tiempos de pandemia, Somos, hacemos, historia, organizado por el Grupo de Investigación Ciclo del Instituto Nacional de Idiomas de la UPTC, incentivado como parte de las actividades académicas y extracurriculares, a propósito del hecho de que nos encontramos en un momento de cambio, un momento de transformación donde la necesidad de estar alejados nos hace buscar diferentes formas para acercarnos. Deseo expresarles nuestra mayor satisfacción por la concreción de esta iniciativa concebida con una doble intencionalidad. Por una parte, el mundo parece estar en pausa, pero los docentes seguimos adelante, no nos quedamos quietos ante la necesidad, nos propusimos incluir un componente conceptual que nos demarcará una ruta de un compartir de saberes que nos engrandece, nos hace mejores profesionales, pero también seres humanos. Por otra parte, para que eduquemos a lo largo de toda la vida sin reforzar los estereotipos del país. Gracias al aprendizaje de lenguas, coadyuvamos a la edificación de principios de paz, no violencia e interculturalidad. Nos marcará una ruta de perspectivas teóricas y metodológicas interdisciplinares que existen responsabilidad, tecnología, comunicación, historia, sensibilidad y emociones que nos permitan abordar las distintas formas en el infinito campo de investigación que alberga la adquisición de lenguas e instrumentos. En esta oportunidad compartiremos con profesionales acerca de experiencias significativas en tres diferentes áreas: cambios paradigmáticos y metodológicos en el proceso de enseñanza-aprendizaje de idiomas, emociones en el contexto educativo actual y tecnología y su aprovechamiento en el campo de las lenguas extranjeras. El escenario que hoy rodea la universidad puede inducirnos a una visión más global, ya que es evidente que el espíritu crítico y autocrítico definen al estudiante, al universitario y promueven, a través de experiencias significativas, los principios y valores de la adquisición de lenguas. Pondremos lo mejor por estar al nivel de la alta responsabilidad que hemos asumido, aprovechando toda la capacidad de docentes, investigadores, conferencistas y personal de apoyo como componentes inexcusables de este proyecto que asegura el conocimiento y su transformación, la investigación y la innovación en un marco social y cultural sostenible. Muchas gracias de nuevo por su participación y atención.
A continuación, palabras de nuestro líder del grupo Ciclos, el docente Diego Teatín.
Muy buenos días a todos. Un cordial saludo para nuestro señor rector, ingeniero Oscar Hernán Ramírez, al señor vicerrector académico, doctor Manuel Restrepo, a nuestro director del Centro Internacional de Idiomas, profesor Alexander Ortiz Carvajal, a nuestros key speakers, profesores Jair Ayala, Marta Ramírez, Andrés Restrepo y Luis Nesbet. Y a todos ustedes, profesores, que han aceptado nuestro llamado a compartir sus experiencias. A todos los demás que están observándonos desde las diferentes plataformas. En estos momentos contamos con más de 128 espectadores en línea. Para mí, como profesor líder del Centro de Investigación en Culturas, Lenguas y otros saberes, es un honor poder presentar ante ustedes este magnífico evento. Este evento nació bajo la necesidad de aunar esfuerzos para poder abrir espacios en el campo académico en estos tiempos de pandemia. Aunque es bien sabido que nos encontramos limitados en muchos aspectos, desde disfrutar del aire libre, hacer nuevos amigos, compartir un momento con ellos, poder salir sin sentir miedo, poder dar un abrazo o estrechar las manos. Debo decir que nuestros brazos no han caído y hoy podemos ver rescatar la necesidad de generar conocimiento, redescubrir nuestra esencia como educadores, como investigadores, como líderes en la comunidad, pero sobre todo como grandes seres humanos al servicio de los demás. Es cierto que extrañamos nuestros salones con estudiantes, regalándonos sonrisas y poder ver en sus ojos la búsqueda de nuevos saberes, esperando que nosotros como profesores podamos siempre brindar lo mejor en nuestras aulas. Hemos cambiado, es cierto, pero algo es seguro. Podemos tener la certeza que detrás de estas pantallas hay un grupo de seres que aún cuentan y necesitan de nosotros. Nos ha tocado enfrentar grandes desafíos. En tiempo récord, tuvimos que sortear las dificultades de familiarizarnos con nuevas tecnologías. E incluso, aunque nos hayamos preparado para conocer sobre metodologías, métodos, estrategias o instrumentos, tal vez nunca dimensionamos la gran responsabilidad que se nos venía en un tiempo como este que esperamos poder sobrellevar muy prontamente. En nuestras aulas virtuales y físicas cumplimos un gran papel, el papel de orientadores, de facilitadores e incluso confidentes para escuchar a nuestros estudiantes, ya que debemos tener en cuenta que tal vez en estos momentos nosotros somos su único escape de esta cruda realidad que vivimos y al mismo tiempo nuestros estudiantes se han convertido en esa razón para seguir, para no desfallecer, para seguir buscando el conocimiento y mejorando cada vez más, porque si algo hemos aprendido en este tiempo es que nos necesitamos unos a otros. Y este evento evidencia eso, evidencia que no existen barreras. En estos 3 días escucharemos experiencias de profesores colombianos en los Estados Unidos, de un profesor americano en Colombia, profesores desde regiones apartadas del centro de Colombia como Caquetá, profesores con gran experiencia en la educación virtual, profesores que aún se consideran nobles en su experiencia profesional. Escucharemos y observaremos diferentes lenguas, es decir, podremos escuchar diferentes perspectivas con miras a aprender gracias al compartir de saberes. Esperamos que la tecnología esté a nuestro favor y en este evento inédito podamos sentir el calor de todos ustedes que están a tal vez miles de kilómetros de distancia observándonos y esperamos recibirlo en esta fría pero acogedora ciudad de Tunja, en la cual me encuentro. Gracias al maravilloso equipo de trabajo en el Instituto Internacional de Idiomas de la UPTC, hemos logrado convertir este sueño que nació con gran humildad. Y así, honrando las manos que labran la tierra de Boyacá, logremos esparcir también las semillas del conocimiento en cada uno de ustedes y que ustedes, queridos profesores, repliquen sus experiencias en cada rincón desde donde nos observan. Los invito a disfrutar de este espacio, esperando poder escuchar sus voces, espacio que hemos construido con mucho esfuerzo, pero sobre todo con gran corazón. Gracias por estar con nosotros. Thank you so much for your participation. Merci pour avoir accepté cette invitation.
Muchísimas gracias por esas palabras, profesor Diego Teatín. A continuación vamos a ver un video de bienvenida organizado por el grupo de investigación Ciclos. Profe Diego, por favor, ¿dejas de compartir pantalla? Profe Diego, por favor, ¿dejas de compartir? Gracias.
¿Qué dificultades se podían encontrar?
La presencialidad facilitaba la interacción docente-estudiante, propiciaba acercamientos donde se lograban conocer más las personas. Los docentes motivaban el aprendizaje a través de actividades lúdicas y dinámicas, donde se cooperaba y colaboraba en el aula. La construcción del conocimiento tenía un seguimiento directo. Se sabía qué dificultades se podían encontrar y cómo actuar. Los docentes conocían muy bien la rutina, pero de repente hubo un cambio inesperado, donde lo inimaginable transformó el mundo. Los salones de clase quedaron vacíos. El bullicio y la algarabía de instituciones educativas se convirtieron en soledad. La llegada de la pandemia distancia al ser humano. Distanciamiento que obliga a pensar en nuevas formas de educar. Distanciamiento que transforma la rutina educativa y los docentes salen de la zona de confort, enfrentando nuevos desafíos pedagógicos, metodológicos, tecnológicos y emocionales. La labor docente se reinventa y se busca que a pesar del distanciamiento social se logre un acercamiento virtual, donde no se pierda la motivación por el aprendizaje, sino que por el contrario, se logre fidelizar a los alumnos en su proceso de formación, buscando soluciones para todos en medio de tanta desigualdad. Teniendo en cuenta los retos que se han venido enfrentando, surge el evento Ciclo virtual de experiencias significativas, Educando en tiempos de pandemia. Somos y hacemos historia. Un evento donde docentes pueden compartir sus opiniones, ideas y experiencias para la reinvención educativa, porque de las crisis nacen las oportunidades de mejora.
Bienvenidos. Es así como damos inicio a nuestro ciclo virtual de experiencias significativas, Educando en tiempos de pandemia. Somos y hacemos historia. Dentro de este evento vamos a estar realizando diferentes conversatorios, talleres y presentaciones en los que queremos que ustedes participen activamente. Así que a través del link que está apareciendo en estos momentos por YouTube, por favor registren su asistencia para fines de certificación. Además de esto, tenemos muchas sorpresas, dentro de ellas premiación que estaremos brindando a todos nuestros participantes y será de acuerdo a las presentaciones que presenten. Así que todos ustedes deben estar muy pendientes de todo este evento para obtener esos grandes premios y además compartir el saber que entre todos construimos. A continuación vamos a dar inicio con nuestras presentaciones.
Profe Rocío, el micrófono es suyo.
Okay, good morning everyone.
Profe Rocío, discúlpame un momento, por favor, vamos alistando la presentación de la docente Rocío. Dame un momento, ya tenemos la parte logística, nos disculpan todos nuestros asistentes, sabemos que son cosas que se nos van presentando en el momento en esta educación mediada por tecnología y pues no estamos exentos de este tipo de inconvenientes. Ya estamos presentando tu proyección y vamos en cuanto a 2 minutos. Muchas gracias.
Okay, no te preocupes. Okay.
Okay, our first presentation is about growth mindset in education. Professor Rocio Oviedo, perfil de facilitador. She holds a bachelor in English teaching from Universidad Distrital, master in Languages Teaching from Universidad Pedagógica y Tecnológica de Colombia. She is a full-time teacher at UPTC and a flipped learning enthusiast.
I think Liz is gone. Diego, can you hear me? Okay. Shall we start? Diego, please let me know. Okay, great. So let's start. So good morning, everyone. I'm Rocio Oviedo. I'm an English teacher at Universidad Pedagógica y Tecnológica de Colombia. Today, I'm very pleased to be here sharing with you this short presentation about growth mindset. So let's start. Today, please next. Today will be very short, my presentation, but very rich in content. We will talk about what a mindset is, the two types of mindset. Also, we will check 5 key situations in which our mindset is shown. And finally, we will explore 10 characteristics of the growth mindset educator. I said we because all of us are going to reflect on our mindset, including me. Many things that have to be considered in regards to this topic. Can you please go to the next slide? Diego or... Okay. So we're going to see 2 types of mindset, 5 key situations, and a growth mindset educator, and 10 characteristics in regards to this mindset. Next, please. Okay, so developing the right mindset is crucial for a successful, happy life. When we learn that putting forth effort and using the right strategies can help us get better at things, we feel empowered and we try harder. When we know our brains are capable of growing, we are more confident, resilient, and can push through the fear of failure. So how do we learn and teach this simple and incredible concept to ourselves and to our students? To start, let's understand the basics. So what does it mean to grow? What kinds of things grow? You can answer my questions in the chat if you like. No, we'll go back. Okay. Grow means to develop, to change, to mature, to evolve. Living things grow. Plants, animals, and people. Even our brains can grow. When you think of the brain or minds, what do you think mindset means? Mindset is the way our brain perceives ourselves, the world, and our mindset helps us to perceive our students in a certain way. Please go back to the one. Okay, before. Great. Okay, so our mindset helps us to look at problems and mistakes in a positive way. So let's put those 2 words together, growth and mindset. When we combine them, it means something really important. We could grow. What could growth mindset mean? A growth mindset is believing in the power our brain has and our power or getting better at things is. We know our intellect and abilities develop when we try hard things, when we use the right strategies, and when we don't give up. So a growth mindset is when we know with practice we will get better at something. So if fixed is the opposite of growth, what does it mean to have a fixed mindset? A fixed mindset means you think you can't get better at things, even if you practice. Wanting to quit, to give up, or deciding we are just not good at something are all the clues we have a fixed mindset. Now let's go to the next slide. So Before we continue, I want to say that Dr. Carol Dweck said that we have both. We have a fixed mindset and a growth mindset, but each mindset appears in different situations. We're going to see later which situations are the ones that show which mindset we have in those specific situations. Let's go to the next slide, please. Okay, great. So here we have a poster of a fixed mindset versus a growth mindset. I want you to take a look at the sentences or phrases that are written in each one for a couple of seconds. And let's think that we all have beliefs about our own abilities and our potential. These beliefs are part of our mindset, which is so powerful that it can fuel our behavior and predict our success. Our mindset shapes our everyday lives, helping us to interpret our experiences and future possibilities. In her research at Stanford University, Dr. Carol Dweck identified two different types of mindsets. Growth mindset occurs when we believe our intelligence and abilities can be improved upon with effort and the right strategies. A willingness to confront challenges, a passion for learning, and viewing failure as a springboard for growth are all the characteristics associated with a growth mindset. Not surprisingly, this type of mindset is strongly linked to greater happiness and achievement in life. So this is not only about the impact that it can have in education, but also in our daily life. In contrast, when we have a fixed mindset, we believe our intelligence and abilities cannot be altered in any meaningful way. As a result, mistakes are often seen as failures rather than opportunities to grow and learn. When stuck in a fixed mindset, we may fear new experiences, avoid risks, and feel that the need to repeatedly prove ourselves to others. So everyone in the world has a way of perceiving things. We call this a mindset. You have a mindset, your friends have a mindset, and you specifically as a teacher have a mindset. We can choose to look at the world in a way that makes us feel strong and happy, or in a way that makes us feel frustrated and weak. People with a growth mindset know they can get better by working hard and trying different strategies. They keep trying even when things are tough, and they say things such, I can't do this yet, or mistakes help me learn. People with a fixed mindset feel different as if they are stuck in the way things are. A fixed mindset happens to anyone at some time or another, but it's important we choose to have a growth mindset, keep trying, and stick with challenges. Now we're going to explore, please next, the 5 key situations in which our mindset is shown. Let's go to the next slide, please. Okay, great. So here we have 5 key situations that Dr. Carol Dweck has identified. Those situations, in those situations, our mindset, either the growth mindset or the fixed mindset, appears and has a direct influence on the outcome. Those are situations when effort, criticism, success of others, challenges, and obstacles are implied or are included. So let's think about challenges. What challenges have you faced recently? Now in this pandemic time, we have faced many different challenges as teachers. We have to try new tools, new technology, and it can be like a big challenge, but we can face it with a growth mindset or with a fixed mindset. How do you refer to those challenges when you talk about them? Please, in this moment, I'm going to ask many different questions, And I want you to answer those questions to yourself. Remember, is to answer honestly. It's not to find the right answer. You are going to be very honest to yourself, and these exercise or this reflection we're going to do are going to help you to reflect and find maybe different things that we have to improve and to lead our minds and our brains to have a growth mindset. Okay, so when we see obstacles, when we have situations when we face obstacles, so let's think about an obstacle you have faced in your role as a teacher. Which mindset did you have? With regard to criticism, how do you react when someone criticizes your work? This is very important. Are we open to receive feedback? If your answer maybe is that it depends on who is giving you the feedback, maybe we have to go deep and check why it depends on who is giving me feedback. Effort. What do you say when you see your students are making an effort, a big effort, but they don't reach the goals that you have proposed as a teacher in your class? What do you say to them? Now, success of others. What do you think when someone you know is successful? Do you think the same thing no matter the person? Do you praise or are you happy for that person and you admire that person because he is being successful? Or maybe it's hard for you to accept or to be happy for other people's success. Okay, so these 5 key situations help us to see what type of mindset are we having. Maybe in some situations we can say, okay, in this situation, I notice I have a growth mindset, or maybe I'm having a fixed mindset. Okay, let's go now to the 10 characteristics that Brock and Hanley, please go to the next slide, propose or set for educators. Right. Okay. So, Brock and Hanley have proposed 10 characteristics that a growth mindset educator should have. All of this is based on Carol Dweck's work. So every teacher with a growth mindset should be flexible. It is not about time flexibility. It is about how the teacher takes into account the students' individual needs. How the teacher makes the syllable flexible. How the teacher uses different strategies to reach every student. Also, how the teacher is equitable, not using the one-size-fits-all in order to help a student reach the different objectives I as a teacher have set in my class. This is done by giving each student the tools they need to support them. Remember that there is a big difference between equity and equality. Yes? Equality means giving all of my students the same tools, maybe the same material. But equity is identifying different needs that they have. And maybe I have to give to a certain specific student more material or more opportunities or teach them different strategies so they can reach the goals that we have as a class. Okay, the teacher should also be action-oriented and must hold high expectations towards all the students. It's not having high expectations towards these specific students and not towards the others, towards all our students. It's believing in the power they have of training their brains and getting better at things through different strategies. I, as a teacher, must be in constant communication, giving them feedback, setting spaces specifically to communicate with them. Also, it's important to build strong relationships with them, value mistakes within different moments of the learning process. The teacher must be process-oriented. This is very important because sometimes we don't focus on the process, but on the final product. And we have to think that during the learning process, they make different mistakes, and those mistakes, as you can see, another characteristic is to value mistakes. So those moments of mistakes, we have to show them that those are opportunities to grow and to learn new things. So we have to value mistakes. And let me see. The teacher must be process-oriented, as I said before. A teacher with a growth mindset must be or has to make an effort to be empathic, okay? And finally, we should promote positive interdependence, which refers to how students behave among themselves to reach individual and team goals. How do they get together to solve problems individually and as a team, as a class? So those 10 characteristics are the ones that Brock and Hanley proposed for growth mindset in an educator. So let's go to the next slide, please. There are many things that we have to reflect on. I know time is short, but here I have some questions for you. As I said before, I want you to be honest to yourself and start thinking that maybe through this exercise, we're going to identify our fixed mindset, and the idea is to start working on it to have more growth mindset. There is a great characteristic that our brain has, that is that we can train it. It's like a muscle. We can train it with every day. And when we are conscious that we're having a fixed mindset, we maybe in our daily life, we can identify, okay, in this moment, I'm having a fixed mindset facing this situation. So what should I do, or how can I improve my mindset in this specific setting or in this specific situation? Let's go to the next slide, please. So I have some questions for you. Feel free to answer them in the chat or just to answer to yourself in your mind and in your hearts. Okay, so if we understand the difference between equity and equality that I said before, do I work to give the same learning opportunities to my students by distributing the resources I have in an equitable way? Do I identify the individual needs that they have, and I make an effort, I go that extra mile to give them what they need? Remember, it's not giving them all the same worksheet or the same exercise. It's identifying that maybe this person, for his or her personal setting or education background, needs maybe a little bit more from me as a teacher. Do I do that? Second, do I as a teacher motivate my students to solve problems? How do I do it? I can make questions to help them find strategies. Even I can teach my students different strategies. They should notice that I am here as their teacher to help them in the process. Third, let's think, how much do I know my students? How have I included strategies and resources to help my students according to their needs? Sometimes, and I know it's very difficult right now that we are teaching from our houses, that we are not face-to-face with them, and sometimes our students in this new setting, they don't even turn on their cameras, and it's hard to get to know them. But maybe we can plan some activities and get to know them by or through those activities that we develop in our class. Now, do I have high expectations towards all my students? As I said before, towards all my students? We as teachers should avoid labeling. Sometimes we make that mistake that we say, okay, this person is good at, or this person is not good at, and immediately that we are giving him or her this label, we are having a fixed mindset. Because when we say a student is not good at X or Y, we are saying that he cannot improve even if he or she tries hard. Okay, another thing is how much communication do I have with my students? Is my communication in regards to the process or to the final product? How do I give feedback? When we think about communication, we can think about feedback. How do I tell my students if they are doing well or if they need to improve? How do I do it? Well, first of all, do I do it? Or I just give a grade and that's it? Or I say, okay, well done. And I think that's not enough feedback. Maybe, and it motivates the person, even if he's not doing that well according to the objectives of the class. If I tell them, okay, in this part of the process, you made these mistakes, let's see how we can fix them. Let's find new strategies for you to improve this skill, for example. Okay. So as I said before, when we give feedback, it should be process-oriented. We shouldn't say, you are so smart, or it's better to say, okay, you did very well in this part of the project or the task. I like the way that you manage this activity or this problem that we have in our class. More focus on the process. Now, do I value mistakes? We need to teach students to see opportunities to grow and learn when they make mistakes. This will help them not only at school, but in life. And we can notice that if we are being empathic according to how they respond to my class, I can do an exercise that is to think, if I was one of my students, would I have liked to be in my class? How would I feel if I was one of my students? So there are many things that I know you're thinking, and it's not right or wrong to have certain positions or to react in a certain way, because what is important now is that we identify in which situations we're having a fixed mindset and start training our brain to improve, to get better, to believe in ourselves, and to have a growth mindset. This will have a big impact in our students and in our process as teachers. To conclude, I have a poster in the next slide, please. I want you to read. I'm going to give you a couple of seconds, a minute. I want you to read it. It's like a poster mantra. So it says, I have a growth mindset. I am in charge of how smart I am because I can grow my brain like a muscle by learning hard things. I can achieve anything with effort and right strategies. And when I fail or make a mistake, it is a great thing because I can learn from them and I get better. So thank you very much for being here. I invite you to keep searching and look for more information about this great concept that is growth mindset. And I want you to be honest to yourself and identify what do we need to improve. I hope that you have enjoyed this topic and keep trying on new things and new strategies. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor. Well, we have some questions from our audience, our assistants, and I'm going to read them to you so you can give us what your point of view, what you think about it. Okay? So the first one is, when you talk about growth mindset, you talk about resilience?
resilience is one part of having a growth mindset. As I said before, having a growth mindset helps us to see in a different perspective things in a positive way. We as Colombians, we are very resilient, I think, from my perspective. So I think it's part of having a growth mindset to develop that resilient ability or way to see things.
Okay, there is a second question from Karen Juliet Layton. She says, how is it possible to work with growth mindset in these virtual classes?
Okay, from my experience, I know it's hard. I know this is a challenge that we are facing, but having a growth mindset in this moment that we are facing this pandemic and this new work setting that is from our houses through a computer, I invite you to find new strategies, maybe new tools to get closer to your students, to try to know them. It is easy in the way that if you think the majority of our students are young adults and they are in touch with technology every day. So you can create different activities, even fun activities, to get to know them better and to support them through different, learning management systems and apps that we have to give them feedback, to make them feel that we are here for them in the learning process. I know it's not easy, but we can do it.
Well, yeah, she also says that she thinks that in public schools it is hard, it is difficult to manage because there are many students in the classes, and that she has been trying to implement these strategies, but it hasn't been easy.
I know.
There is another comment, and it's in Laura Marcela says, it is a little difficult when you have many students. What is your opinion about that? If you have many students in your class, how can you implement these strategies? How can you give them the same opportunities also? Or how can you implement this growth mindset?
Okay, first I want to make clear that what we have to do in the first place is to identify our fixed mindset and start working on us as teachers, right? Don't worry if in this moment you cannot get to know all your students. I understand your point. When you have 250 students, it's not easy. But as soon as I start as a teacher, working on my mindset and having a growth mindset as an educator, immediately, even if you don't notice it like consciously, they are going to start changing their attitude because our language, our communication with them is going to be different. We're going to feel more positive and we're going to feel empowered. And that is going to be transmitted to our students through our discourse as teachers. So don't worry, I know you're doing your best and we keep working on that.
Okay, one more question, and it is from Miguel Ángel Amaya Cruz. Good morning. How should teachers motivate their students in virtual classes for children in public schools? Thank you.
Okay, that's a good question. I haven't had any opportunity to work with it says preschool students or little kids yet in my life, but I guess they are very sensitive, or they feel our attitude. And as I said before, working on our mindset as teachers, having a growth mindset as a person, as an individual, it will impact the way that students will perceive things. So I know that it's also easy for us as teachers to identify which students, especially those little ones, that need more help. So as soon as you start maybe asking them, okay, how you doing? How is this task for you? I mean, how are you managing that task? They will feel that they are important, and it will impact the result. To focus on the process more than the final product, to value the mistakes, and to help them to find different strategies. I think that's one way that you can do to help them, that you can go for.
Thank you so much, Professor. You have given us important information, and I am sure we're going to apply this in our classes. Well, I have good news for you. Les quiero contar a partir de ahora, entonces vamos a hacer una rifa, vamos a empezar con una de nuestras rifas del evento. Contamos con un libro de un docente del Instituto Internacional de Idiomas que es perpetua, pero entonces para realizar esta rifa, profe Rochi, te voy a delegar una tarea y es pensar en una pregunta de toda la información que nos has dado para hacerla al público. Entonces tú vas a decir la pregunta y el primero en responder en nuestro chat de YouTube va a ser el ganador. Obviamente, el primero que responda de manera adecuada a la pregunta. Entonces, todos por favor muy pendientes y profe Rochi, cuéntanos cuál es tu pregunta.
Okay, an easy one. Okay, so
one.
Okay, let's see how memory is working today. So, name 5 characteristics that a growth mindset educator should have. 5 characteristics. Let's see what they are.
Ok, vamos a esperar un par de minutos. Let's wait for a couple of seconds. I will say no minutes, but seconds to see if someone answered correctly. En este momento tenemos 95 personas conectadas a las cuales pues saludamos y les reiteramos que deben diligenciar el formato de asistencia. Serán certificados siempre y cuando asistan a la mayor parte de todo el evento. Entonces agradecemos por su conexión, agradecemos por hacer parte de este evento. Entonces estamos pues ahora esperando a que nos den la respuesta a la pregunta que la profesora Rocio Oviedo habla.
Nos pidieron cinco respuestas, ¿ok? Vamos, Marcela Bustos, she says, communication, values, positive attitude, flexibility, and high expectations. Is that right, Miss Rocio?
Okay, I think she means value mistakes, but yes, that's right.
I love that part, valid mistakes, right? Okay, I really like that, valid mistakes, because actually a mistake is not a mistake, you know? Yeah, so please, teacher Marcela Bustos, please get in touch with us. If you fill out the form, we're gonna get in touch with you, and we are gonna make sure that you receive this book. Okay, this Perpetua book is a mystery book written by one of our professors at the Instituto Internacional de Idiomas. So if you are into mystery and you wanna know a little bit about Boyacá, if you wanna know these beautiful landscapes that we have in here, and of course, feel a really eerie atmosphere, this is the book that you should read. Okay, so thank you everybody for this presentation. Remember to click on the next link on the comment section so you can open our new room, and we will be with you guys very, very shortly. In about 5 minutes, we are going to begin our next presentation. So please enjoy a coffee, enjoy this morning. Everything is going really well in our presentations. Everything is working smoothly. And thank you so much, Professor Rocio, for being with us. It was a very interesting topic, and I feel really, really glad to have this opportunity to share your knowledge. Thank you so much. Thank you, Professor Listeth, for your presentation. Thank you, everybody, for your attendance. See you guys in 5.
Okay, thank you. Have a good day.